So today we are drawing the Snowdog. The Snowdog is a character who appears in the film that was made after the Snowman book and the Snowman film, the original one in the 1980s, and it involves a rather wonderful dog made of snow, okay, and the original boy from the film. So here we're going to start off with a nose, and the nose is just a simple love heart. Okay, he's got a little love heart nose there. Now we're going to use pencil and colouring pencil today. So we're going to do the nose. We're then going to work out where the eyes are in relationship to the nose, and they're about here and about here. Okay. Now the top of the head is about the same distance above the eyes from the nose. So we do a little line like this. And then we're just going to very loosely get the shape of the head. And the shape of the head is a little bit like a potato, although I can assure you this is not a potato. So we're going to come around like that, this potatoey shape. So I'm doing sketchy lines. I'm not pressing very hard because as I draw these lines, I'm kind of working out the shape. And then we'll rub these lines out when we need to. Okay, so there's the shape of his head. Got a little mouth here at the side, grinning. Now he is quite a cute little dog, and he has got some socks on his ears. When was the last time you put socks on your ears? So we'll do the top of the socks like this, and then we're going to have the sock shape kind of coming up and around, something like this. Okay, there we go, so there's the second one. Already looking pretty cute. Now we're going to tackle his back. Now his back's just going to come off something like that. Nice little cutesy tail sticking up at the back, like that. And then we're going to come down. We have a leg coming out here, coming around, like that. I'm going to go up to about there. A little bit of his chest showing. And then the other leg can do something like that. Let's not forget, this dog's made of snow. Well, for those of you who haven't seen the cartoon, it is rather lovely. And I won't tell you what happens at the end, because that would spoil the ending. And so it's a little bit longer on his tummy. And then we've got the back leg, doing something like this. Okay, and there's the foot. And then we come back, and then we go up, and we join his tail. Okay, and maybe we'll just see the other leg, something like that, behind that one. So that is the rough drawing. Maybe get a little bit of pattern on the socks. Maybe one can have some dots and one can have some stripes. Okay. Right, oh, that was a bit of a terrible wobble. Sorry guys about that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to come around with our light blue pencil. And I am going to basically just kind of go over those lines with my light blue and just make them a little bit bolder and a little bit more visible. Okay. Something like this. I've got a light blue pencil here, and I'm just making these lines a little bit bolder. So light blue is always a really good colour to use when we're doing anything relating to snow in a cartoon. Okay, so let's just go around all these lines. Obviously, if you're unhappy with any of the lines, you can just rub them out at this point before you go over the colouring pencil. It's pretty hard to rub out colouring pencils, so I'm just going to go like this, and like this. There we go. And here's his mouth. Right, so that's all the sort of snow bits. Now his eyes, we're going to do his eyes nice and dark. I think for now we'll just use this pencil here. So I'm just going to darken these in. Okay, and we'll come back to those in a minute. Now his nose is like this sort of orangey brown colour. Now for those of you who have done the snowman and the Father Christmas draw along, you will know that when you're working with colouring pencils, it's very, very different to working with pen. With pen you just get one colour. With colouring pencil, if you press hard, you get different shades to if you press lightly. So if I want it to be dark, I'm going to press harder. So this is kind of a mixture of sort of browns, a little bit of red, a little bit of orange. So I'm just building up that colour. You can see I'm just kind of gently using the colouring pencil here. I'm not pressing too hard everywhere, but I am in some places to build it up. Come do a little bit more here. Like that. Okay. It's looking rather good. Maybe a little splidge of orange. Not that the word splidge exists, I just made it up, but I think it's quite a good word, splidge. And then we might go a bit darker at the bottom. Now remember, when we're creating any kind of drawing of any description, it's always good to have a little bit of contrast. And contrast is light and dark next to each other. And when you've got light and dark next to each other, you create the illusion of something being more 3D. Okay? Right, so I'm quite happy now with his nose. There is his nose. Now we're going to go a little bit darker with the eyes. So this is just a black colouring pencil here. Okay, so I'm just leaving a very, very little bit of white left over. Maybe just a very small amount in his mouth. Now I don't really think there's anywhere else on this picture where we're going to do black, so we'll just leave that like that. Okay. I think we should get some colour on the socks. So again, I'm going to use the colouring pencil and build it up very, very slowly, like this. Okay, so pressing very, very lightly. Very, very lightly. Okay, and then I start to darken things a little bit, so you get that contrast I was speaking about a moment ago. So I'm going to come around like that, maybe get a bit of darkness here, come around like that. Okay, let's change the green. So we've got a lighter green here. Pressing very, very lightly. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce some yellow. And the yellow on top of the green will make it just look like a very kind of pale green. Might get a little bit of yellow into the other bits again. It's all just about building it up gradually. And that's quite cool. I might go even darker now. I've got an even darker green. Do something like this. It's kind of the opposite to the way we work with the pens, which is about literally filling colour in. This is about building up gradually with quite sort of sketchy lines really. Right, I think I'm nearly happy with that. Got an even lighter green. Oh, that's quite a nice one, that's a lime one. Doesn't really matter if you do these green or any colour really. What matters is trying to get this technique, which is just building things up gradually. Now we're going to do the same on this here. All right. Might want to speed this bit up, I don't know. But it's exactly the same idea. So maybe we should speed up the video here. Okay, so there's his ears, all right. Now we're going to add just a slightly darker blue on his mouth so we can see it, like that. We're going to add some slightly darker blue areas in the areas of shadow. Now again, the lighter you compress, the better here. I'm pressing as lightly as I can, and I'm just sort of focusing on areas that are near edges, and also areas that are underneath things, like underneath his chest or down here by his tummy. So shadows are just areas that don't get as much light as other places. So it looks darker. It's really as simple as that. So if you're ever doing drawings and you're not sure where to put the shadows, think about where the light is and where the light won't reach. And where the light won't reach is where you can make things a little bit darker. Okay, so I'm just going to make these areas a little bit darker. Again, building it up gradually. Don't want to go too dark though. Pressing as lightly as I can. And lightly as possible. Like so. I guess you want to try and avoid seeing lots of like lines. What you want to try and see is just gentle pen, okay? Some people choose to use their finger to blend it a little bit. And that can work. It works better with pencil, but it can work a little bit with colouring pencil. There we go. Right, so a little bit more up here, I think. Bring it around the face. Again, very, very, very gently. A little bit more under the chin. Okay. Go over to his tail. A little bit more here. Okay. Right, now, I think what we need to do now is go back finally to the lightest blue. Now I think this is the lightest blue I've got. Let me just check. Yep, it is. It's the lightest blue. Now I'm going to come across very, 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 very gently and just get a little bit more blue around and about, okay? Again, I'm just pressing so lightly you can barely see the line. Don't press too hard at all. Okay, and I want to do this in one direction, and then I'm going to cross over and do it in the other direction. Okay. Right, there he is, the Snowdog. Look at him, the Snowdog. So guys, don't forget, we've got loads of other videos, we've got lots of other Raymond Briggs videos, and we've got loads of other videos for you to watch. So do have a little scroll down, see what else we've done, and please subscribe to Art Room Studios, and we'll see you very soon. Thank you. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you very, very soon. Bye-bye.